Yo, welcome in, man. Today is December the 12th. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. We got 3 games on the board for today. The NBA Cup games are taking an intermission. We had 2 good ones last night. We had 2 good ones on Tuesday night, and they'll be back on Saturday. But we got regular basketball in the NBA. We got regular teams playing today. So we'll jump into a quick recap. I didn't have any official plays, but we'll talk about short list that I did have and go through a couple of the comments, and we're going to jump into the 3 games, man. It should be a pretty quick show. It's only 3 games on the board for today. So let's do just that. Yesterday, I kind of want to vent, but I'm not going to. When I do these shows and I put the preparation time in, I always talk about not playing the game before knowing the injury report. But I said yesterday that Atlanta was the right side if Bogdanovich played and Jalen Johnson played. And not only did they play, they won the game outright yesterday, as you guys probably know. So they definitely were the right side yesterday. I talked about Karl-Anthony Towns over his rebounds and assists. Cashed pretty easily. I think he cleared the whole thing with just his rebounds. And then under in Golden State in Houston, just thinking that it was going to be a little bit more of a defensive grind. And I don't think it touched 190 points last night. So 3 winners if you tailed anything on this short list. I hope you guys made some money and that was enough to push you with your own handicap, of course, up and over to get some money last night and win a couple bets. Let's go through the comment section real briefly and we'll jump into the games for today. Dallas, I think this is a new commenter, says good morning. He says, morning, good cap on the under and Golden State game. So I guess he cashed yesterday. Glad you cashed that, Dallas. Moneyball says Rockets got lucky last night. It was a controversial call for sure. I don't know about that. J Chips is my Knicks, shaking my head. That said, I cashed the Hawks +8 and Trae Young double at +193 parlayed together. Then flipped that into a Rockets money line and an under 220 parlay. And that cash because of your info. Thank you. Okay. Hey, I'm glad you've been cashing, Chips. Nice, man. What up, Lightbearer? G Herd in here, rocking with me as always, early in the morning. Just glad I got the Rockets money line and didn't lay the points. Yeah, if you played that, boy, that got tricky last night. What up, Kenneth? It's top of the morning, Chris. Golden State third quarter, straight money. Yeah, they were down, 7 or 8 at halftime. So yeah, that was a good look. Warriors +2.5 and PZ was a winner. Finally, Houston got vengeance. Yeah, it took a while, G421. Took a long time, about 4.5 years, but they got there. What's up to my guy Nesbest in the chat? Says, what's good, my brother? Rare occasion that I'm up for a live show. My coldest 7 days of the season. I should have cashed the Warriors +138 last night. Yeah, Steve Kerr was upset, Nesbest. And we know it's the grind, man. It's the grind. I've been there. I've had, cold days already this season. We're slowly but surely getting back to even. But, yeah, I've had those cold days as well, man. I know you'll bounce back. I know you will. What up to my guy, Justin, dropping down, says I really think the NBA needs to set aside a week or 2 just for cup play. And I would agree with that, man. Let the other teams go on vacation. Malcolm says NBA Cup kind of mid. I don't think so. I think it's going to get real good when we get to Vegas on Saturday. Nesbest likes the Kings -5.5. Says Pelicans getting healthier, but they beat the Kings 6 straight. Kings will be up for this game and simply outscore them. What up, KC? She says they cheated my Warriors, man. I can hear KC's voice saying this. She says I'm sick. She probably ain't been asleep all night. Oh, I'm sorry, KC. I'm sorry, man. It was definitely a controversial call. I don't think you make that call if you're Bill Kennedy. I don't think you make that call. Justin says I keep telling y'all my Knicks are like that. Merrill in here, GLB and Benson here. Good morning to you guys. Cal. Oh, shit. Cal up early. He probably woke up to take a piss or something. Cal says Celtics team total over 120 is a mortal lock tonight. Free as oxygen. It's absolutely cannot miss. We'll talk that out a little bit later on Cal's show. I'll actually go through that game in just a few minutes or so. What's up to my guy, Mark? KC says we finna smack him next time. Yeah, I can see that. What up to my guy, Sean? That's bets. Says, yes, sir. Glad to hear it. Let's keep it going. All right, let's jump into the games for today. First up, we got jaXon. We always talk about jaXon. So for people that are new, jaXon is an AI-powered sports betting / sports fantasy tool that you guys can utilize to help handicap the games. Sides, totals, spreads, props. I mean, you name it. It's a little bit of everything on jaXon. Comes in a whole bunch of different languages, and you just put the prompt in, and it'll feed you what you want. So today, I asked jaXon Pistons or Celtics total. It's so funny Cal mentioned this, but I asked jaXon Pistons versus Celtics. What about the total, jaXon? jaXon says, so we start off with some key trends and analysis. It says the Pistons and Celtics have already faced each other twice this season, with both games going up and over the total. December 4th, the total was set at 221.5. Final score was 130 to 120, 250 points were scored. October 26th, the total was set at 225. So we saw the total increase. Saw the total decrease because it was the first game. That game finished 124 to 118, 242 points scored. So team scoring trends. The Celtics are averaging 127.7 points per game over the last 10 games, while the Pistons are averaging 108.7 points in that same time span. Combined, these teams are averaging 231 points per game, which is slightly above today's total of 227.5. Defensive trends. The Celtics have a strong defense, allowing just 111 points per game this season, but their recent games have been higher scoring. The Pistons defense has struggled, allowing 119.9 points per game over their last 10. Betting trends. The Pistons have hit the over 7 of their last 10 games, including 3 straight. The Celtics 5-5 won totals in their last 10, but their more recent games have gone up and over. You can kind of see where jaXon's going. Injuries. Tatum is listed as questionable for the Celtics. If he plays, that boosts the Celtics' scoring potential, but his absence might slow the pace, which I disagree with there. I don't agree with that. But we'll talk about a little bit more about it. Recommendation. So given the recent high-scoring matchups between these two teams and the Pistons' tendencies to hit the over, I'd lean towards the over 227.5. Both teams have shown their ability to score efficiently, and the Pistons' defensive struggles could lead to another high-scoring game. You can bet the over at 227.5, -110 on FanDuel here, and you can actually click the link and all that. So jaXon likes the over. I kind of like the over too. We'll talk about the game in just a second, but just kind of giving you guys some news of what jaXon, giving you guys a reporting live from jaXon. So let's jump into that first matchup that we have. We got a line that opened, I think 13 was the number. Celtics were laying 13 points. Let me just double check that just to make sure I'm not tripping. I want to say it was 13. Let's see. No, 14. My fault. 14 points was the line, and this total actually opened higher, which I kind of expected to open higher. It opened at 229. I saw it all the way down to 226.5 last night, and now money's starting to come back in on the over. So you got Detroit has been god awful defensively over the last 10 games, and jaXon just talked about that. They're 3-7 straight up and against the spread in their last 10 games. They are 7-3 to the over, including 3 straight overs. 5 of their last 6 games have actually gone up and over the total. And we know that Cade Cunningham didn't even play in all of those games. He has missed some of those games. On the opposite side for the Celtics, 8-2 straight up, but only 2-8 against the number in their last 10 games. I think Boston is at that point of the season where they're probably just ready to have Christmas. Like they don't really have a lot to get up for. The last time we saw them play was at home on, what was that, Saturday, I think it was. We took the Memphis Grizzlies plus the 6.5, I think it was, and cashed out right. That was a 5th game in 7 nights. So the Celtics should shoot a little bit better from the 3-point line. I think they shot under 30% from the 3-point line in that game. Spot for as far as Boston, they won kind of reminiscent of the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors, but not that bad. Boston's actually won 11 straight in the head-to-head matchup. Detroit is 5-6-1 against the number in the last 10. And the totals have actually gone up and over 8-3-1 to the over in the last 12 matchups, including 3 straight overs, 2 of which happened this season. Both games have actually gone up and over by 17 points and 28.5 points in the 2 meetings that happened earlier this season. 5 of the last 6 games have actually gone up and over, going back to last season as well. I don't think the books. I think the books continue to set the total, the line for Boston as if they care, and care about defense in this matchup versus Detroit. And we've seen, like, through all the matchups that they don't care. The Boston Celtics do not care about defense as much when they're playing against the Detroit Pistons. They just want to go out there and win the game. They don't care if they cover. They know that they can score the basketball. And when you look at the matchups, because me and Cal talked about this last week. I think Cal took when I was on Cal's show, Cal took the over for the full game. I talked about liking the Celtics team total over. And then I ended up sending out the Detroit Pistons team total over. So all three of those were winners last week when these two teams just played each other. The difference between that game and this game is the injury report. And Drew Holiday wasn't a part of that game. Jason Tatum also set out in that game. He's listed as questionable today. We'll see if he plays. I'm guessing I would go out on a limb and say he does play. And then you got Sam Hauser also listed as game time decision. So nothing really changes in my opinion here. Drew Holiday being back definitely impacts the defense that Boston is capable of playing. But I still think Boston's going to be able to put up points. I think Detroit is also going to be able to score the basketball as well. Last week, it was Tatum and Holiday who didn't play, and that game flew up and over the total. And I kind of see it, whether they're in or not. I just think that this is an over spot. I definitely agree with the money coming back in on the over. I'm not laying points with Boston just because they've been pretty horrendous covering spreads. Can they win this game by 12, 13 points? Yes. Do I lean to Detroit a little bit more? Yes. The team's having, some time off to probably just kind of get away from basketball, get some practice time in. It's probably helpful to defense. I'm not going to say that. I'm pretty sure teams are probably working on defense, but Boston continues to win, so I'm not sure what they feel like they need to clean up. They're also going to shoot a ton of threes. Detroit doesn't defend the three-point line well. I think both of these teams can score. I think it's an over spot for sure. Let's see what you guys are thinking, and we'll move on to the next one. Let's see. What up, Burns? Appreciate you for tapping in. Jared says, nah, Cal just didn't go to bed at all. Cal woke up to pee and tapped in. This is crazy. He said. Alex says he took Atlanta last night. Let's see. What up, David? All of revenge, stop hitting in cups, J-Rock says. Nest Best says he leans Pistons plus the points, but never eager to step in front of Boston at the crib. Can find better ways to spend my evening. Yeah, they haven't been covering though. That's the thing. Man. I would only be looking towards the Pistons plus the points in this game. The line, like I said, open 14 is down to 12.5. If we look at the Pistons so far this season, let's just look at the Pistons as dogs getting 10 points or more. They are 0-3 straight up, but they are 2-1 against the number. They're losing by an average of 9 points per game, which actually gives them an edge here. They were dogs against the Cavs, got smoked in that spot, 111 to 113, so they lost that by 12. They were double-digit dogs against the Celtics twice already in Boston. Both of those games went over. They covered both. So Pistons have been covering a lot against the Celtics in general, and like I said, 2-1 when they've been road dogs twice as double-digit road dogs. If we look at Celtics at home as a double-digit favorite, 4-1 straight up, 1-4 against the number. They're winning by average of 10 points. They started the season not covering against the Nets, not covering against the Hawks, not covering against the Raptors. They did cover against the Clippers. There was also Clippers, like a big letdown spot for the Clippers in the last game of that long road trip for the Clippers, if I remember. And then they didn't cover it to the Pistons. So 4 straight overs, games going over by about 9.5 points per contest, averaging about 233 points per game. So appreciate that best for making me look into this a little bit deeper. It says over, and that's what I lean as well. Didn't play it yet, but I like over. Let's see. Aaron says these teams have had a lot of rest. Over feels like they're coming tonight. Yeah, I like over too, man. Mark says he laid the minus 12.5. He thinks the Celtics smoked the Pistons today. They went by double digits a lot. KC says, can you please talk about the Warriors game again, Chris? I want more of Warriors game talk. It's like, no, I'm just kidding. She don't want to talk about it no more. Merrill likes Cade over his 8.5 assists. Cade's been cooking, man. He has been absolutely on fire. I could not talk anybody off Cade. They continue to play hard. I don't think Boston's going to be locked in, which is why I like the over as well. David says, I like that jaXon play on the over. It makes perfect sense, but it's gambling. Things don't always go as predicted. Yeah, that's why you got to find the edge, David. That's why you got to find the edge. Merrill likes Tatum over his rebounds and his double-double potentially. Oh, he says double-double is a lock. Oh, I hate that word. Unless we're talking about doors, I hate the word lock, but I know people love it. They think it's automatic. What up, Tariq? Says, good morning, Chris. I like the Pistons plus 12.5, leaning towards the over as well. That's where I'm at with it as well. I can see Pistons covering, but not betting it. Moneyball says, all right, cool. Let's see. Lot of comments coming in. Thoughts on Tobias? I never have thoughts on Tobias, Blue Mamba. No Tobias props for me. I got a lot of other things I'd rather do with my money. David says, rebounds and assists for K, 15.5. He continues to smash it, and he does. That would be the top player prop if I'm looking at anything in this one. I'll probably be looking towards K. Coming off, they beat the Knicks, right? They beat the Knicks outright in their last game. He had a monster triple-double in that spot. Yeah, that's the way that I would look. Towards K, that over would be the plays in that game. I would also be looking towards the points as well. Let's see, Detroit, Boston, over. I think the best number you can get right now is 227.5. I haven't bet it yet. To all transparency, I haven't bet it. And I will be looking at K, rebounds and assists as well. He is that guy right now. Moving over, we got the Raptors. They will be in Miami tonight, getting 10.5 points against the recently hot Miami Heat. So the Raptors 4-6 straight up, 7-3 against the number. They've been covering machines. They did just play 5 games, I think it was, in Toronto in a row. And we know that they've been much better at the crib than they've been on the road. 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games. Grady Dick hadn't played in a few of those games. He did come back. And then 3 straight losses, but they played against some really good competition. They beat the Miami Heat at home. Then they had let's see if I remember off the top of my head, they had OKC. Lost that game, got smoked. That was the game Jakob Poeltl didn't play. Then they had Dallas right after that. They covered against Dallas. And then most recently, they had the Knicks. So probably 3 of the top, 5-6 teams in the NBA they played recently. So 3 straight covers, but they are 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 games. Miami also getting hot at the right time. Haven't had to travel. This is their 4th straight home game. They're 7-3 straight up, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. 3 straight wins and covers. I think that started with my Lakers when they smoked us. They also had beat Toronto as well in that spot. Miami's been at the crib for a while. Neither team plays again until Monday after this game, so you got an extended break for both teams. And the injury report is paramount in this one. So you got Scotty Barnes, who rolled his ankle pretty badly. Get well, Scotty. Hopefully he can be back soon and is not out for too long. But he's going to be reevaluated, I think, in about a week is what was reported yesterday after rolling his ankle pretty bad. Bruce Brown and Emmanuel Quickly are out, but you did get Kelly Olynyk back. I think he's played in 2 straight games for Toronto. And then on the Miami side, Jimmy Butler is listed as probable. We know that there's some a lot of trade speculation. Miami's kind of come out and just kind of shared that Jimmy's on the market. Jimmy says he's not really too much worried about it. Not sure how that impacts the game specifically. If anything, I always think about players that's on the trade block wanting to play well because they want to showcase their talent so they can be in the best situation, as far as the market goes for that specific player. And there's been a lot of teams linked to Jimmy Butler. I've seen him going to the Warriors. I've seen him going to, Houston, making a strong case for him, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, back to the actual matchup. This is the 3rd one of the season between the 2 teams. Miami actually won the first one in Miami. We were on the wrong side of that. I took Toronto plus the points, and they got absolutely obliterated in the 3rd quarter. I think it was 38-15, and that 3rd quarter was enough for them not to cover. They were getting a lot of points in that spot. Similar to this game right here. Toronto ended up getting their revenge last week in the 2nd game, or I think it was a week and a half ago now. They did beat them to get their revenge in that game. Both teams actually won and covered when in the first 2 matchups this season. And both games went over. 220 was the first total, 221.5 was the second total. And we got a total today that's actually higher than both of those at 224.5. Raptors are not a team. I think about the Raptors as one of those profile teams where home versus road splits are, now that we are, we've gotten we're 25 games into the season, about a quarter in. A little more than a quarter in, I kind of feel like now is a good time to start looking at home versus road splits. The Raptors, as much as I would like to take over here, and over could be the right play. As much as I would like to take over, because Miami's offense has been absolutely smoking recently. Tyler Hero playing really, really well. They're healthy. Kind of got the band back together. Making a ton of threes. Terry Rozier's having really good games. Bam is, I don't know what Bam be doing, but Bam be out there. He can play well, can help the offense, but Bam seemed like he's just kind of going through the motions. And of course, Jimmy Butler being there as well. As much as I would want to take the over, because like I said, with Miami's offense, Miami's the 4th rated offense last 5 games. They're doing a good job protecting the ball. Turnover percentage is down. Offensive rebound percentage is up. Shooting the ball pretty well, specifically from the 3-point line. I couldn't quite get there because the Raptors, their offense typically doesn't travel as much. They're 8-4 on the road as a dog. And I think without Scotty Barnes, 8-4 to the under on the road as a dog this season. Without Scotty Barnes, I think the offense could fall off a lot. I was going through the numbers this morning, and this offense is not as good without Scotty Barnes on the floor. They're not as good defensively without Scotty Barnes on the floor either. But the points that they give up and the points that they score, the margin kind of widens. Now, do I want to lay 10.5 with Miami in a meaningless game that they, already beat the Raptors earlier this season? Not really. That's too big of a number. So I think if I had to play it, even though Toronto's not as good on the road, they're still profitable on the road against the number. I'd probably be catching the points here. If Miami's not super locked in, 10.5 is a number where you got to really lock in for me to want to lay that. I think, the Raptors are going to continue to play hard. Should they cover the first time they were in Miami? Probably so. If Miami's not, if they play around with their food here, I think the rebounding battle, which we know Toronto's an excellent rebounding team, 2nd in offensive rebounding on the full season. Offensive rebound numbers have been down a little bit recently, but even without Scotty Barnes, I'm not in a rush to lay 10.5 points with the Miami Heat. Also, don't feel super inclined about the total either. I kind of feel like it's about right. So I'm going to stay off of this one. Not a game that I'm really super interested in, like points, total, player props, any of those things. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. KC says, recently, hot and toxic Miami Heat. Yeah, it's kind of toxic down there. David says, what is Raptors record with no Scotty Barnes? I would need to look that up, David. I'm not going to do that on the show right now. No Barnes scares me a lot, David says. If this was in Toronto, I'd have my mortgage on the Raptors. T. Hurd says, yeah, they already won that game. Nett says he leans towards Miami. He says came close to betting it. Beat the Raps by 10 at home, even with a monster game from Scotty Barnes. Should roll, but I hate laying points with the Miami Heat last couple years, and I'm right there with you. 10.5 for Miami is actually absurd. Let's look at that real quick. Let's look over let's just go last 2 years. The Heat are 6-2 straight up since the start of the 2022 season as double-digit home favorites, but 2-5-1 against the number. Crazily enough, though, they actually failed to cover 5 straight, and then they covered 2 in a row, and then they got a push against the Raptors last season. At the end of the season, what was this, April the 14th? They were laying 15 points as a home favorite. They won that game 118-103, so they ended up with a push. They are 6-2 to the over as a double-digit home favorite going back 3 years or 2 years. So yeah, I'm not in the position where I want to lay points with the Heat though. I'm not there. Not there at all. DC Sean says, what up? Had to rewind, so I'm a little bit late, but good luck and great show. Appreciate that, DC Sean. SK says, y'all saw what Jimmy Bucket said. Jimmy G Buckets agent said, right? I didn't see that. What did he say? Markel says, I need Scotty in if I want to play. Raps. What up, Chris? What up, Markel? Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. I can't lay it though. I can't lay it. Even without Scotty, I can't lay it. Moneyball says 115-107. Jimmy trying to get his trade value up. I agree with that, KC. Merrill says RJ up and over his 6.5 rebounds and over his 1.5 made threes. RJ threes have been cashing. We talked about that, I think, 2 weeks ago or last week. He should have a little bit more increased volume here. I could definitely see that. For sure. Jaime Jaquez Jr. over his 1.5 assists. Bam's triple-double sprinkle. And RJ, Markel says. Drop it down. So she's like the under here. Drop it down. Says Asia Wilson is putting that fire on Bam. Okay. Yeah, let's keep it pushing, man. Chris, I just got the Discord back. Send me the link, bro. Yeah, just send me an email at G421. Raptors team total under 106.5. PG says, I don't trust the Heat defense that much, if I'm being honest. Malik says, what's up, my guy? What up, Malik? He says, hero props, my only look for this game. Toronto hasn't been doing well covering the first quarter. Last 3, they're minus 10.3. So I'm going to take a look at that. So maybe Miami early. Toronto has played 5 straight home games. Kind of aligns well. Does Miami continue to play really, really well at home and start the games off well, though? We shall see. They have been looking good and they have been healthy. So, couldn't talk you off. It's not a game that I'm interested in betting now, I think, though. Let's move over to the last one on the board, one that I did bet, Sacramento and New Orleans. This line opened, what I saw yesterday was Pelicans plus 5.5, and then I saw a total at 231.5 as well. So real quick, as far as an update, let's see what we got. I want to say this is consensus, though. I think I did see this starting to move to 6.5. Yeah, moved to 6.5. Total moved up and moved to 231.5. It looks like is consensus. 232 is out there as well. This is the game, and I'm going to just get straight to it. This is the game that I bet the over on. I sent it out to the members at halftime last night when I was going through the halftime of the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks game. This is a game I like over. We actually sniped the 2. We'll see if it's a snipe or not. We sniped the 229.5 in this spot. So you got Sacramento coming off a 44-point home win against Utah the other day on Sunday. Back-to-back wins for the Sacramento Kings. They beat the Utah Jazz and the San Antonio Spurs after losing to Memphis by 5 the other day. Sacramento Kings offense is humming right now. 140 points plus in back-to-back games. So I mean, this was that was a big part of the trend for me to want to take this over. I also thought, remember last time we saw the Pelicans, they played against the San Antonio Spurs, and I thought to myself, this is a game that I like the over. I think the total was like 221, 222. And the Pelicans are over or nothing team. As they continue to get healthy, their offense continues to get better, in my opinion. But defensively, they've been god-awful. Like, the Pelicans not really stopping anything right now. So I do think the Kings are going to be able to have some success. I also think the Pelicans are also going to be – I think their offense is going to continue to improve. Getting the days off that they got, I think is going to be helpful for them. So I look at the Pelicans, only 1-9 straight up. The only win that they got came against the Phoenix Suns. 5-5 against a number in their last 10 games. They do got a game against the Indiana Pacers on Saturday. The Pelicans, since CJ and DeJounte have returned, are playing a lot faster and absolutely no defense. 5 straight overs for the Pelicans in their last 5 games. Before that, because we know it's been about 5 or 6 games since they've been able to kind of gel and get the continuity together with CJ and DeJounte being back, Trey Murphy as well, Herb Jones as well. They had actually gone under in 5 straight games. So 5 straight unders and then 5 straight overs most recently. They've given up 118 points or more in 7 straight games. Each of their last 10 opponents have actually scored 112 or more. Far as the injury report here, who was it? Not De'Aaron Fox. Malik Monk and DeRozan were held out of practice, I think yesterday. But I was listening to Mike Brown talk about what they did during the break, blah, 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 blah. He said that if they had to play a game yesterday, those guys would have played. So I'm expecting them to be out there, of course, if I'm going to play the total in this spot, and I already played it. Pelicans have 5 players that continue to remain out. Jose Alvarado, Jordan Hawkins, Brandon Ingram, of course, Zion. All of those guys are out. And then Marlo Makovic, I think is how you pronounce it, with lower back spasms. So I think the Pelicans still got enough to be able to score. Head-to-head wise, this is the first meeting of the season. The Pelicans have actually won 8 of the last 10, and they've covered 8 of the last 10 as well, including 6 straight. So this is a team for the Pelicans that typically plays the Sacramento Kings well. I'm not in a rush to lay points on the road with Sacramento, even though they have been playing really, really well. But that over just kind of spoke to me. At 229.5, I thought we had an absolute bargain. The Pelicans' last 4 totals finished 237 against the Spurs on Sunday or Saturday, whenever that game was. 228 against OKC was the total. That's of course an elite defensive team with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Sacramento Kings defense does not go in that category. 250 against the Phoenix Suns. 236 against the Atlanta Hawks. All overs, no defense. I played over 229.5. This total is up to 231. I would still play over. I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game. A lot of pace. I was looking into pace numbers. I think the Pelicans are top half of the league, like about 14th in pace over the last 5 games, which is up on the season for them. And the Sacramento Kings are, I want to say, 6th in pace. I didn't write it down, but off my memory, I think they're 6th in pace. So the Kings are playing fast. We know Malik Monk's been inserted into the offensive lineup. Kevin Huerter's playing his 25 to 28 minutes off the bench, being able to bring some scoring in. Pelicans, I think the Kings should be able to score however they want to, honestly. Sabonis has a really good matchup down low. The pick and roll between Sabonis and Malik Monk has also been something that's been really good. But De'Aaron Fox, Keegan Murray, I think they should be able to run it up here. Also, like I said, I think the Pelicans with DeJounte Murray, CJ McCollum, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, I think they're also going to play fast. And they should be able to score the ball. I'm not really, the Kings' defense from the three-point line has been really solid over the last few games against the Jazz and against the Spurs. But I'm not buying into the hype quite yet. I think the Pelicans should be able to keep the game close through some three-point shooting in this game. So I did play over here. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. We'll do a quick recap. And as far as player prop, I didn't play anything in this one. Just like the over a little bit more than anything else. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Moneyball says Kings 119.5, Pels 111.5. So he thinks it finishes at 230. I think it's more than that. That's 231, I guess. That's 231. I think it's more than that, though. I do think it's more than that. Let's see. Next bet says Kings minus 5.5. Best spot on the board. 6 straight L's versus the Pelicans. It's Tom. Pels got guys they can throw at Fox, but usually have to deal with Zion and Brandon Ingram. I agree with that. And Jose Alvarado. Sacramento 3-1 ATS last 4, 120 on Houston defense. They're clicking right now, and that's why I like the over. I do think both teams can score. Yeah, and Nesbeth says he likes over as well. SK says Nola haven't even played well, but still been covering. Yeah, and the other thing I think, we got to mention is I saw the reports come out yesterday about the Pelicans potentially breaking this thing up. And I think that's absolutely on the board, right? Like if they, started trading away guys, it wouldn't surprise me. I don't even know if the Pelicans know what they want to do moving forward as a franchise, but not a bet on team right now for the Pelicans, in my opinion. We'll see what happens as, the season kind of goes on. They did have a couple days off of rest, to work through some things. But, yeah, I don't like anything I'm seeing from the Pelicans right now, specifically on the defensive end, which makes sense. Messi's 18, 19, 20 years old. He's a rookie center with a lot of responsibility. I can't get there with the Pelicans at all. But also, like I said, don't really want to lay too many points with the Kings. It should be a spot where they can score the basketball, though. Ricardo says he'll take the points with the Pelicans. He says they got to get together at some point, regardless of injuries. This hasn't been successful this season. Thinking about this team, thinking about the Pacers, I don't think I could get there with you on this one, Ricardo. Sean says he says he grabbed the minus 5.5 with the Kings and maybe grab a minus 10. Moving Monk into the starting lineup is the key for them. Yeah, it has been really, really good so far. Mark says he got that 229 when I sent it out. Thanks. Yeah, hopefully we cash it, Mark. I need it today. Kings is smoking right now, back-to-back 140. I mentioned that. Justin says he also got that 229 when I sent it out. Going to be his only action for me. It's the only thing I got locked in right now as well. Herb, points, rebounds, and assists been hidden, KC says. Let's see if we can look at Mr. Jones. Mr. Herb Jones real quick. Put some numbers to what KC is saying here. So Herb is listed at, his points, rebounds, and assists are listed at, looks like 18.5 is the number. He's played in 3 games so far this season. He's cashed twice. Went under against San Antonio at, I'm not sure what the line was set at. He finished with 16 in that game. He had 12 points, 4 rebounds in that spot. He had 32 against Oklahoma City, 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists in that spot. And then against Phoenix, he had 12.7 rebounds and 5 assists. So this does make a little bit of sense. Like I said, I'm not willing to buy into Sacramento being a great defensive team, even though, like I said, their wins, they smoked the Utah Jazz. Utah was due for a letdown spot after winning by so many points against Portland the day before, or the game before, because they smoked the Portland Trailblazers the game before. So, yeah, don't let me talk you guys off. Herb Jones, I could get behind some Herb Jones props today, KC. What else y'all seeing in the chat? Kings team total over 119.5 would be my pick. Ron says, I think they can get to 125. Tonight. It's up from 15.5 to 18.5 now, KC says. Okay, so so that means he's 3 for 3 to the over in the books of Adjusted three hold numbers. As far as minutes, yeah, this makes a ton of sense, Casey. Now that I'm looking at the minutes, like he's playing starter minutes, 31.7 against Phoenix, 37.1 against OKC, and then 37.5 minutes against San Antonio. So this makes a ton of sense. Looks like it opened at 19.5, got bet down to 18.5, back up to 19.5, and then now back down to 18.5 as of about 11 minutes ago. So I am seeing some line movement on the prop, but yeah, this makes a ton of sense. I like Herb. I can see Herb. Let's see. Pels first half from Maurice. He thinks they keep it close early, plus the 3.5 for him. Jadon says I can bet 229 at minus 130 odds. I would just bet it at 230, but I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. Do what you want. Kings team total over 119.5, averaging 127. Aaron says he likes it as well. Over in the Boston game, under in the Heat game, over in the Kings game. This is what I like as well, Tariq. Those would be my looks. Malik says Kings first half team total over 61.5. Pelicans last in the league in the last 3 games in points allowed in the first half. 71 is what they're allowing. So the Kings should be able to take advantage of the Pelicans' weak defense, specifically in the first half from Malik. Mark says DeJounte Murray under, or is it DeJounte? Or yeah, it's probably DeJounte because Keegan Murray is also in this game. Says DeJounte Murray under his 29.5 points and assists. No analysis, but he likes that. Yeah, I think so as well, David. I think so as well. So jumping into a quick recap, like I said, that was the only thing that I did bet was the over last night at 229.5. I still bet it at 231. I do think it's going to be a higher scoring game against 2 fast-paced teams. One defense that I'm not trusting in Sacramento, the other defense that none of us should trust in the New Orleans Pelicans. So I do like over a little bit more. Probably going to get there with Boston and Detroit as well to go over. Just kind of want to monitor the injury report. If Tatum, I'll tell you guys right now, if Tatum comes back, I don't like it as much. The Celtics defense is worse with Tatum off the floor. And Drew Holiday being back does scare me off a little bit, but I still think it's going to be an over game. Boston should be able to score at will. Just haven't locked it in yet. And then I didn't write down, but I know people been looking for player props, and player props I've been talking about they have been cashing. So I will add to the list Cade up and over his rebounds and assists. I think the number was 15.5. Let's see. Yeah, over 15.5 rebounds and assists for Cade. I think should be good money in that game. Yeah, not gonna force a lot today though. When you don't have I'll just leave you guys with this. When you don't have a lot of situational spots as far as rest advantage, look ahead spots, that can be that's when it's really difficult to bet the NBA, in my opinion. So you're not going force anything, but we did play Sacramento, New Orleans over last night. Potentially get there with Boston and Detroit up and over. The Miami game, I'm just off of altogether. I know I'm not touching that game unless we get some breaking news or, somebody shares something with me that makes me want to look a little bit deeper. And I just kind of feel like I'm going to be off that game. That's what I got for you guys today. I hope the show was helpful as always. Best of luck on whatever it is that you are betting on today. Resources, as always, the handicapping games are here. Check out jaXon. Referral code ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's, 2 N's will get you 50% off whatever tier you sign up for. Same thing with Moneyballer, 50% off your first month for people that are using the good old Moneyballer website. I encourage you guys to check it out if you have not. Definitely an efficient way to handicap the games. And Odds Jam, I always talk about using the sportsbook referral. I always talk about using the live odds screen, the sportsbook odds screen page to get all the odds for whatever it is that you want. Also saves you a lot of time. So check these out. The link for each one of them is in the description of the video. Best of luck on whatever it is that you guys are betting. We will be back tomorrow morning, same time. I'll catch you guys then. Enjoy your Thursday. I'm out.